We're going to take your phone calls, 888-727-BECK, all next hour, all your phone calls, wall to wall. We have not gotten to all of the news that we need to. By the way, it looks like the tariff ruling from the Supreme Court is not coming today. I don't know if that's good news or bad news. I don't know which. I know where I fall constitutionally, and I know where I fall in hopes. And they're diametrically opposed to each other. So we'll see what happens on this. Also, we have to talk about the president saying yesterday about Mexican land strikes. The GDP, the Atlanta Fed has said now they're expecting the fourth quarter to come in at 5% GDP growth. So we started the year at, what was it, 0.5? I think it was 0.5 minus 0.5 in GDP growth. And then it has just kept going up and going up. I want to give you a history of what 5% GDP growth means. When China was really doing well, they were between 8 and 9% GDP growth. This is stunning if you have that kind of growth. And I know it doesn't feel that way yet, but something is happening. To give you an understanding of 5% growth, our recovery from the financial crisis, our recovery happened in 2014. So between 2008 and 2014, but by 2014, that year, one quarter at least, we had 5% GDP growth. Okay. It took that many years. Let me give you another stat. In 1984, Reagan finally really kicked in, and it was about 8% GDP growth, okay? 8%. If you lived in the 1980s, you know what that felt like. But it took him 4 years to get there. We are just over 11 months of Trump in office, and we have gone from negative growth to 5. We could be facing a very good election period economically, that will change everything. But we're going to continue to watch. Also, unemployment is down again. It's slight, but it's down again. The last thing I want to talk to you about is Iran and what happened last night. Jason, who is doing how's the Insider behind the scenes broadcast going?
So good. I'm missing all the comments right now, but I mean, from where they started on Monday, they were just starting to trickle in, I guess, as they were trying to figure out what this was all about. Now I can't even keep up with it. Now it's like a huge feature, and they're like, Jason, can you yell into Glenn and ask him about this? And it's just amazing. The audience, I love them.
I love the audience.
They're just amazing.
And I want to say this, and I mean this sincerely, and whether you believe me or not, I don't care. But I truly love this audience. Every time I meet you, I feel like we've known each other forever. Even though we're meeting for the first time, it is the most caring group of people ever. And I'm building what I'm building now, called The Torch, but it's actually glennbeck.com. I'm building all of this stuff as my torch. And it is my way of lighting something and then giving it to you so you can light the way. And what we have planned for you to be involved and actually have this one-on-one conversation. Are we doing in 2 weeks? Are we doing the town hall?
We're going to have to talk to your new CEO about that. But, we're
money.
That's
forget
our
it,
goal.
Forget it. We're going to do it. Everybody's like, it's going to cost so much money. Yeah.
Abracadabra.
We'll make money at some point. But anyway, we'll have to start taking subscriptions to make money, I know. But we really want your help on building it. So we're building something that is actually useful to you. And, we haven't even had a chance to mention this. And have you seen anybody mention this yet? The Open has changed. Our theme song changes every year. But
they've noticed.
Have they? Not the theme song. For the very first time since 2020, the verbiage has changed. And it's always been the fusion of entertainment and enlightenment. This is the Glenn Beck program. I added and changed that for the first time in 26 years. The fusion of entertainment and enlightenment and empowerment. Because my goal is to empower you with knowledge and information the facts on everything, and we are coming up with delivery systems that nobody has done before. And you can find those and play around with some of them at glennbeck.com right now. Anyway, let's talk about what happened last night in in Iran. How it felt to me like it might fall last night, but it didn't.
I was watching last night, and I completely agree with you. I was like, we might see the regime go down tonight. The things that we saw back in 2022, 23, the things that we saw back in 2009, this started to kick off. I remember looking at the faces of some of the protesters that were out in the streets, looking at some of the things they were willing to do. That is nothing compared to what we saw last night. I saw a woman last night. She was probably 75 to 80 years old.
Wow.
She was walking down the street. She was holding up her arm in defiance, and her mouth was pouring blood down her face and down her clothing. And she was still marching to whatever objective. I was like, I cannot believe Time Magazine or whoever else wasn't there to take that photo, because it's the photo of the year. Absolutely crazy. And keep in mind, all these thousands of people that are actually, it spread to Tehran. There were tens of thousands marching down the street in Tehran.
170 plus cities.
And other images for Time Magazine are the young women without their hijab on, smoking a cigarette, lighting the Ayatollah's image on fire. Those are starting to go viral now all over Iran.
No headscarf, smoking the cigarette, and
lighting his own.
Three things they're not supposed to do
I mean, they would be killed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they still might be. This is why we have to pray for the Persian people. I wish people knew more about the Persian people. This civilization is a remarkable civilization that was way ahead of everybody else. And Tehran was like Paris. I mean, all the good parts and good things about Paris. It was very enlightened. It was very smart, very well educated, very free. The women, you look at pictures from the 1970s of Iran, and the women were beautiful. It was a very Western country. And the Marxists and the Islamists got together and overthrew the Shah. And they've been living, in this hell since 1979.
Since I was born.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Shah, I remember when we were talking about this back when there was the Israeli campaign and when we bombed nuclear sites. Some people were talking about the Shah as being the person to, take over or lead this. And I was very skeptical of that. I didn't think that the people would go for it. The stuff that was happening last night was actually called for by the Shah. In fact, whoever he's working with, they were working with an organization that was providing like a QR code so that you could scan the QR code and film what you were doing. Wow. They were chanting in the streets last night, the Shah's name. I mean, he was their battle cry.
So here's the bad thing. So let me give you the good thing. I told you at the beginning of the week, here's what you watch for. I think I did. I had a list. I don't even know if I got to this list, but I had a list of all of the things that we have to watch for, if you want to know what's going on. And one of them was, is it growing in labor unions? What is happening at the docks and the ports? Are you seeing police starting to, put their clubs away? Are you starting to see the morality police kind of back off? And all of those things you're starting to see, and it's getting better. But on the bad side, I said what you need to watch for is the internet still up? The phones still working? Does it look like the mullahs are digging in and about to oppress? And last night, the internet was shut off and phone service was shut off. So you can't even call each other. That's really frightening.
Yeah, that's frightening. And that is confirmed. Those two things did happen, and that makes
Are they still out today?
That is not sure. I'll have to look at it. I would assume so, but they're clearly not wanting the world to see how they're going to respond to a lot of these people. But there are just the wildest reports that still need to be confirmed. But there were multiple reports that several Iranian officials were looking to get out of the country. There was a report that the Ayatollah's ejection plan is to go to Russia. There were reports that, like, I think it was the main foreign minister, like their Secretary of State, went to Beirut in Lebanon, took his family with him, with no plans to leave at the current time, which I don't blame him.
What is Russia? What are they thinking? Russia has a population problem. Nobody's having babies. And so that culture is dying quickly. And yet the Islamic culture is growing. They're having 10 babies. And so that's growing. It's going to become a Muslim country at some point. Why would you bring the revolutionary mullahs into your country? What are they thinking?
I think what they're thinking is they're seeing the empire they thought they were building slowly crumbling. We are seeing major geopolitical shifts in the world right now, and they're all happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
South America, a big part of their key to their entire eventual takeover.
All of it.
Going away.
Gone.
Iran, another huge part, not only of their empire, like militarily through drone production, stuff like that, but also money. A lot of oil. A lot of these pieces are just getting taken off the board. And I think they're in desperation mode right now, which could be very dangerous. I think I heard with you talking about being backed into the corner with the ambassador.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see Alexander Dugin's tweet?
Oh,
last night?
Did. There is no international law. We should go. Well, I didn't see it about Iran. I saw it about Venezuela, and he said we should go in and take Zelensky and bring him to Russia and try him.
Yeah, I encourage everyone to go to his Twitter account just to see the mind of some of these people.
Be very careful.
Be very careful.
He is very good at making sense, and you'll read some of his stuff and you'll be like, yeah, I agree with that. You have to know what he actually believes.
Yeah.
He is an agent of chaos, and I believe an agent of evil, literal evil. He's very dangerous. Be careful.
His response was very, very foreboding because he said that with the Russian military losing so much credibility, they're going to be forced to hit and hit hard very soon just to make an example.
I got to tell you, I think NATO wants war. They're making moves that scare the hell out of me. Russia wants war because they've got to. I mean, when they start to collapse, that's when people become very dangerous. And, I think every war, I can't say this, but I think 99% of wars are started by a miscalculation. Somebody miscalculates, and the whole world's set on fire. And that's what we have to pray, that no one miscalculates right now, because this is a tight rope that we're walking right now, and it is extraordinarily dangerous. What are we expecting tonight? Do you have any idea what are we expecting maybe a possible roundup of people or more of what we saw last night in Iran?
It'll be very interesting to see in the closing hours of daylight over there if we get any information whatsoever. But I expect more of what we saw last night. I expect more of people hitting the streets, pushing further and further. They were doing things last night that I never would have expected that they would do. They were burning actual government buildings. They were charging IRGC, Revolutionary Guard Corps. They were charging their headquarters in multiple different cities.
We could see by Monday, we could see a free Iran, or you could see us being in a corner of, are we going to protect the people of Iran from this regime, from slaughtering them? I mean, this weekend's going to be, just pray. Spend a lot of time praying for peace and praying for the people of Iran. The Persian people are amazing. And if they could get that culture back and they could be free, the source of good that Iran would be in the world would be remarkable. But we be very, 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 very careful. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. You can hear Jason while we go into commercials. If you're watching on glennbeck.com, Jason gives you a ton of information. We have added 50% more a show to this show if you're watching it only on glennbeck.com. Thank you for thinking for yourself and being part of a movement, because that's really what all of this is. If you want the full story, you want to go deeper, go to blazetv.com/Glenn. Go there right now, sign up, no interruptions. Just the truth, uncensored and unfiltered. Don't just watch, take a stand. And I'll see you over there in a minute.